see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom, I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. I choose joy, I choose freedom, I choose the goodness that lives in me. I choose perfection in what life brings. I choose God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom, I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything.
Namaste.
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 Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.
Bum ba dum ba dum bum.
Power's out. Oh, the power's out.
No.
Again?
Linda and Gino, thank you so much. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to Universal Spirit Center. I'm Kevin Busey, and I have the great joy and honor to be the spiritual leader of Universal Spirit Center. And I welcome you this morning to our Sunday gathering. So know, whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, that you are welcome with us. So I just invite you to just take a deep breath in, right in the center of your heart. And on this Valentine's Day, I wish all of you happy Valentine's. I wish all of you a great experience of love this morning as you gather with us. So we come to you live through Facebook, so like us and share us on Facebook. We come to you from our YouTube channel, so subscribe to us on YouTube, and we come to you from our website live stream. So welcome. Let's just take a deep breath in. Breathe into the love. Breathe into the love. And so today our guest singer is Harold Payne. So we're so glad to have Harold with us through vMix. So Harold, welcome. Welcome to Universal Spirit Center.
Hello, Universal Spirit Center. Harold Payne here, wishing you all a happy Valentine's Day. And so glad to be in your presence. It's been a while. And I hope that next time it will be actually in person rather than just virtually. Something wonderful happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, hey, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Hey, hey, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. And all this love inside, we can let it shine. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Yes, it is something wonderful. Oh, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful.
Harold Payne, thank you so much, Harold, joining us through Los Angeles. So welcome. So we got some interesting stats this week of who turns into us, who watches us on Sunday mornings or on Wednesday evening. We have quite a following from around the world. So I just mentioned some of the high points, the countries that attend the most. India has about 90 people that are attending to us. Canada, the Philippines, Australia, Mexico, Pakistan. We have a good following of people viewing us from Pakistan, South Africa, Egypt, Ireland, and United Kingdom. So I want to welcome all of you who join us from abroad, who join us from another country. And we're glad that you're with us. We are indeed a global country, a global community because of you. So thanks for watching us. Thanks for tuning in. I want to give us a little shout out to our practitioners and let you know that our practitioners are available to you during the week. Our practitioners are prayer practitioners. They're counselors, like spiritual coaches, and they're here for you during this time. If you're feeling kind of stuck or kind of over the pandemic or feeling a little low, or you have something you want to celebrate, our practitioners are standing by waiting for you. You would simply go on our website and click under guidance, and then pick one of the practitioners, give them a call, and they're available for an hour session for a fee. They've been trained to know the experience of love for you. So I encourage you to reach out during our practitioners during this time. And then finally, I want to tell you about the Ricky Byers concert that's happening. We're joining Vision and Temecula. We're joining all the centers in San Diego to host Ricky Byers. And actually, our own Gino will be hosting the Zoom room experience. So we know that will be a very lively experience. It's a Valentine's celebration, and it happens today, actually, at 7 p.m. So we invite all of you to that. You can go to our website under events and click events for tickets. So I encourage you to join that experience. Happy Valentine's Day. If you've just joined us, welcome to Universal Spirit Center. And now I have the honor to present to you Richard Osigera, who will let you know what else is going on in our center. Rich.
Thank you, Rev Kev, and good morning and happy Valentine's. In honor of Black History Month, every week this month we are highlighting a fantastic, a powerful, amazing African-American woman. And I'm honored to have to share a few words with you about Fanny Lou Hamer. And I'll be honest, I did not know anything about her until recently. She was a women's rights activist, a community organizer, and a civil rights legend. And she's known best for her work to achieve voting rights for Black Americans. She used stories of her own suffering as a poor sharecropper on the Mississippi Delta, and she used songs like, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." Gino didn't know I was gonna do that. And she moved hearts, I didn't know I was gonna do that, and caused change for Black Americans, especially the right to vote, which we know is still an issue. So please help us in eradicating that. And you can learn much more about Fanny Lou Hamer in the documentary Stand Up. And this documentary is already posted for you on the Racial Equality Project page on the Universal Spirit Center website. So please go there, click on the documentary. It's only half an hour, and learn some things about an important part of our history. Also, as part of the Racial Equality Project's ongoing series of Movie of the Month, this month we actually have 2 movies for you to participate in, and they both feature Cicely Tyson, dearly departed, beautiful Cicely Tyson. So we're inviting you to watch Sounder and also the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. You can get all the instructions for how you can access those movies on the Racial Equality Project page. And at the end of the month, on February 26th at 6:30 p.m. in our community Zoom room, you can join us for a discussion about how these movies moved you and what you learned about Cicely Tyson, but really about Black history and the story of our brothers and sisters in this country. And without any further ado, I present to you Lydia Joy Ayers.
Good morning. My name is Lydia Joy Ayers. Thank you, Rich. I'm one of your many licensed prayer practitioners here at Universal Spirit Center. If you would like brief affirmative prayer after the gathering, please remember that we do have a Zoom prayer room. You'll go to our website at universalspiritcenter.org and click the button that says Sunday Zoom Prayer Room. Our reading today is by Joel Goldsmith. Go within yourself, rest there, and acknowledge the divine presence. Pray that it reveals itself to you, invite it to flow out from you, and then give action and expression to it by letting that love pour out to your friends and your enemies, to your nation's friends and your nation's enemies, to people of goodwill and people of evil will. Open your heart to embrace the whole world. We open our hearts to embrace the whole world, knowing that there truly is one heart and one love and one power and one peace, which we may call God or Spirit or the Divine. That one thing moving itself out beyond the stretches of our imagination, out beyond any concept of friend or enemy, out beyond concept of this nation or that nation, and pulling itself into this very present moment, into me and into you, into all of the hearts and hands that create Universal Spirit Center, into all beings everywhere. And how good it is on this day to remember the one heart and the one love pouring itself through each of us, opening itself to receive each of us, opening itself to be more and more love, more and more peace, more and more joy. And with great gratitude for knowing this truth and sitting here and seeing this truth, I simply surrender this time back into that love. And please join me as we anchor this truth together by saying, and so it is.
Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, 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 love. Nothing you can know that can't be known. Nothing you can show that isn't shown. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All together now. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, 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 love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, da, 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 da. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love, love. Love is all you need. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, love, love. Love is all you need.
Harold Payne. Thank you for joining us, Harold, and reminding us love is all you need. You know, I didn't mention France as being one of the countries that join us, but I see Lori Jo's in our chat room, so I'm assuming, Lori Jo, you're still in Paris, so add France to that count. So there's a story, a true story, about a guru who was the head of a commune. And I read about this incident some years back and do not remember the guru's name. But he was head of this commune, and he went away for a few days to do whatever gurus do when they leave their communes. So when he left, the community thought, you know, now would be a good time to give a spiritual intervention to Frank. Frank was a member of their community, but he was somewhat obnoxious. He was kind of a know-it-all, and he didn't take any responsibility for anything he did wrong, and he was just kind of an irritant to the rest of the community. You know, he was just, maybe you know someone like that, just kind of a pain. So the community thought, you know, they would share with Frank what they think to do a spiritual intervention. So they gathered around and they told Frank, you know, the times he was obnoxious or you know, didn't take responsibility or acted like a know-it-all. They just let it all out. And Frank was really, Frank's the made-up name, by the way. But Frank was really devastated. So he actually left. He packed his things and he left. And he went to the bus stop down the road from the commune to leave. And it just so happened the guru was driving back to the commune. And he passed the bus stop and he saw Frank sitting at the bus stop. And he said to Frank, you know, what's going on? Where are you going? And Frank relayed to him the spiritual intervention that had happened. And Frank was, you know, pretty upset. So the guru says to him, get in the car. So he gets in the car and he goes, we're going back. And he brings Frank back. And he gathers the community together and he says to the community, the real spiritual work begins when we can love those who irritate us, when we could love those who trigger us, when we could love the know-it-alls, those who don't take responsibility, those who cause us intense reaction. Jesus said, if you love those who love you, what merit is that? That the call of the divine is to love all people. I remember years ago when my first night in practitioner training, to become a prayer practitioner, it's a 3-year program for those of you who might not be familiar with it. And so it was the first night and I was so excited. I had done all the prerequisites and I was so excited to start practitioner training to assist in praying for people and helping people and teaching. So the first night, I remember so clearly, the teacher says, your job during this 3-year time or this 2-year time, your job is to fall in love with each other. And I looked around the room, and back then we had really large classes. There were 24 of us. And I looked around the room and I had 2 thoughts. One is, this sounds really touchy-feely. Am I kind of in the right program here? And the second thought is I looked around at the 23 folks and I'm like, I'm supposed to love all these folks? Part of the training for becoming a practitioner is that we see a practitioner for spiritual counseling during the course. So early on, I went and saw actually the teacher, who was a practitioner, obviously. And I was struggling with a particular relationship, and I was telling her about my struggle. And she says to me, the path to God is through relationship. The path to God is through relationship. And you know, when she said that, there was a part of me that absolutely knew that that was true. That the way to have a greater experience of the divine, of God, is through loving relationship. So fast forward to 2 years, the last night of that practitioner training class. I looked around the room of that group as we were processing, you know, what we learned. And I realized that the teacher that first night when she said, our goal this year, the work is to fall in love with each other, I thought she was absolutely right. Because if I could love these random 24 characters, with all their strengths and all their flaws and all their idiosyncrasies, if I could love these 24, myself included in that 24, then I could love anyone. And I could open myself to be a channel of divine love for anyone that I come in contact with. So that's what I want to talk about this morning. I want to talk about relationship as spiritual practice. I'm going to share some of my own musings about relationship, and I'm going to borrow some stuff from Michael Brown, who wrote The Presence Process. So here's the thing. The thing is, and you've heard this said before, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so what that means, what that implies is prior to this human existence, we existed before. And in that existence, before being born on this earth plane, we had an experience of infinite love, of being infinite. We had an experience of unconditional love. And then we're born into this earth plane, into the finite, into form. We're born into beginnings and endings. We're born into boundaries, a world of edges, a world of a feeling of limitation and not enough. But you and I remembered what it felt like. On some level, you and I remembered what it felt like to be loved unconditionally. And that's why we yearn for it. That's why we crave it. Because we remember what it was like to be loved without any boundaries. So very early on, Michael Brown says, very early on in our experience, we have kind of a wounding of love, where we desire or we want to be loved or we need to be loved a certain way, and it doesn't happen. And it's kind of like the first wound of being loved. And Michael Brown says that it happens before we're precognitive and pre-verbal. So it's more like an energetic pattern that happens in us. It's a first wounding. In spiritual literature, in Christian spiritual literature, it talks about the sacred wound. The sacred wound. So the idea behind this is very early on, we have an experience of not being loved the way we want to be loved. And so it creates in us an energetic pattern of woundedness. And as we grow, that energetic pattern, it stays with us. It stays with us. And it's just below the surface, just below our awareness. Now, the universe calls us to be whole and integrated and healed. So the universe has an agenda that these energetic patterns of woundedness would be healed, would be integrated. So what the universe does is it sends to us individuals in our lives that activate those wounded patterns, those energetic patterns that formed around our woundedness when we were children. Anytime we've had an intense reaction to someone that supersedes maybe what actually happened, that's that energetic pattern that's being activated. So Michael Brown talks, and other spiritual leaders talk about this too, but Michael Brown talks about that the universe sends to us messengers. Messengers to kind of trigger those patterns so that we could be aware of them. Because if we're not aware of them, they just hide behind the surface, and they create a havoc of feeling not really loved, or feeling isolated, or feeling kind of separate, right? So the universe calls those things to healing. So they send us messengers. They send us Franks in our lives to kind of activate those patterns. And as I said, you and I have experienced those anytime that we've had a strong reaction to anyone in our lives, be it a neighbor, a coworker, someone who cuts us off on a highway, our spouses, our partners. They're great folks, that great messengers for us, right? Because especially, I think, in romantic or intimate relationship, we open ourselves to a greater experience of love. And so those energetic patterns come a little bit closer to the surface. So this is a side note here. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but since the pandemic, myself and I'm sure a lot of spiritual leaders, a lot of people have talked about how, there's a universal call for healing. We see it through our experience of racism. We see it through, the divide in our politics. So there's a call. Well, where there's a call to wholeness, right? There's a messenger or a trigger. And I wonder for many of us if Trump isn't that trigger for us. Someone that activates within us that pattern. So whether it's Trump or not, I'm sure we've all had the experience where we have felt triggered. So here's the thing. I had an experience this last week where a good friend said something, and it hurt me. It was a comment. I don't know how they meant it, but it caused a kind of a deep emotional reaction in me, and I was triggered. So here's the thing. If I continue to think about that story, think about what my friend said and how my friend meant it and my reaction, and if I concentrate on the story level, what I'm doing is I'm just feeding that energetic pattern within me. I'm just feeding this energetic pattern. I'm building a story of separation and of blame that leads to isolation. So that's definitely, I think, how many people who are not living an examined life kind of go through the world, is to stay in story. But spirituality calls us to go below the storyline. So the call is to go within ourselves and be with that energetic pattern, to take our attention off the person who hurt us or the situation, and bring our awareness to the inner dynamic that's going on. So that's what I did during the week. I realized, if I stay at this level of story, it's simply going to feed that energetic pattern. But if I can pay attention, bring awareness to myself, just like a mother might bring loving care to her child that's hurting. If I could bring that kind of loving attention to myself, what happens is it shines light on this energetic pattern, this energetic wounding, this original sacred wound. It brings awareness to it. It brings light. It brings breath to it. And just like the child, the baby that stills and feels peaceful in her mother's arms, so this energetic pattern starts to dissipate and begins to integrate within us and moves us to an experience of peace within ourselves so that we no longer need that story that we've been running. It falls apart because there's no more energy to it because we've paid attention to the energy that was running inside of us, that energetic pattern. So what we do is we take the awareness or the attention from the story, from how we were hurt, into loving awareness within ourselves. And it's the only thing that will stop the judgment and the blame and the conflict and the hatred that we experience out in the world. This is exactly how relationships become a spiritual practice. Because what they do is when we do get activated, when we do react to someone else, there's the call for us to tend to ourselves in the experience of love, thereby dissipating the storyline and dissipating the judgment. So I invite you to notice those messengers in your life, in the many forms and the many ways that they come to you, to notice them. And when we feel triggered, or when we feel a strong reaction, or when that messenger is delivering us a message, I invite us to take our awareness, our attention off the story, off that person. And with loving care, with loving kindness, tend to our own inner process. And watch that inner process become light, become peaceful, and witness the story dissipating. So I'm going to ask you right now to just take a deep breath. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to invite you to take a moment and just consider someone in your life, present or past, that has caused you a strong reaction. This is great work to do. Great work to do on Valentine's Day. Who is someone in your life that caused a strong emotional reaction within you that triggered you? So you have a sense maybe of that person, maybe what they said, or maybe what they did. Take a deep breath in and just bring your awareness to your inner process. Bring your awareness to your breath as you breathe into your body. And feel what's there. Feel the emotional, energetic pattern. And as you feel into it, breathe into it. Breathe awareness and light. Breathe love. Imagine a mother holding her infant child who's crying. And imagine how she lovingly cares for her child. And I invite you to lovingly care for those parts within you that feel heard, that feel maybe isolated or rejected. bring your awareness, your love, your compassion to those places within you. So breathe deeply, deeply into yourself. Know that within you is infinite love. Within you is an experience of unconditional love that surrounds you and moves through you. Continue to breathe in as I read again the reading that Lydia Joy read earlier. Go within yourself. Rest there. And acknowledge divine love. Pray that it reveals itself to you. Invite divine love to flow out from you, and then give it action and expression by letting this love pour out to your friends and to your enemies, to your nation's friends, and to your nation's enemies. To people of goodwill and people of evil will. Open your heart. Open your heart and embrace the whole world.
You turn the news on, you get your blues on from all the negativity. It's hard to wrap yourself around what's going down on TV. You can stress it, second guess it, you can think about it way too hard, or you can move the conversation from your head to your heart. Sometimes it's a matter of just letting go. Holding on to the one thing we know. Love wins. Love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson we're learning again and again. Love wins. We all matter. It doesn't matter if we're on one side or the other, as long as we find a way to get along with one another. We can agree to disagree, or maybe even realize that we see another point of view when we look through someone else's eyes. Sometimes it's as easy as just letting go, holding on to the one thing we know. Love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson we're learning again and again. Love wins whenever you give it a chance. It is the one hope that everyone has to build a better world for us all. Love wins. Love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson we're learning again and again. Love wins. That's where it all begins. Love wins. We learn it again and again. Love wins. Oh, 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 oh. Love wins. love wins.
Harold Payne, thank you, Harold Payne. Thank you very much. So I want to take a moment and thank all of you who are financially supporting our community. We're clearly in the black, and it's because of your generosity. We're also able to give 10% of what you give us to places and people that work for a world in which love is the measure. So we have given recently to two places, the San Diego Food Bank and Feeding San Diego, because this time of the pandemic, so many people are hungry and going without food. So I don't remember the exact amount, but we were able to send some money to those organizations to help feed people who are hungry in San Diego. Thank you. It's because of your generosity. So I invite you to continue to support us. I invite you to place your hands over your heart. And in this moment, just give thanks for love. Give thanks for the love that you feel within your being. Take a moment and give thanks for those who love you and for those whom you love. Give thanks in this moment for Universal Spirit Center, a place that calls us to love. Feel this gratitude fill your heart and move through you. I invite you to give out from this place of gratitude. So let's know that our giving out makes a difference on our planet. So we give thanks, we let it be, and so it is.
Before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 From my heart to you, Universal, and a big Valentine's hug. Oh. Happy Valentine's.
And gratitude to Gino Walker, our music director, and Linda Ely, our pianist, is still there. Linda! And Lydia Joy Ayers, who led us in our prayer this morning. Very beautiful. Thank you very much. For Rich Osigera and Corey, who are behind the scenes with the camera. And I don't know if you know, but right at the beginning of our gathering this morning, one of the circuit breakers went off. So I really want to acknowledge the team for their cool-headedness and getting us back online. And thank you all for joining us. Whatever country you're in, we thank you for being a part of Universal Spirit Center. Thank you for joining us. And I'm going to invite you to tell 3 people today that you love them. 3 people today. So that's my goal. It's my goal today, and I invite you to do the same.
I love you, Reverend Kevin. There's my first one.
Gina just said she loved me. I love you. 2 left. Okay. We've got 2 left. So let's just take a deep breath in. Right into your heart space. And as you breathe in, have the intention that your breath awakens the experience of love within you. So we open to the divine love at the center of our being. We invite it to rise up, to move forth in our lives as a blessing to those whom we love and those with whom we are in conflict, to our messengers and to the stranger. We send forth the power of love. Join with me in knowing this as together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Thank you.
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 Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for everything. Oh, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you.
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 Thank you.